Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here on Sunday, June 27th, 2021 to talk to you about Game 3, the Milwaukee Bucks at the Atlanta Hawks. So we want to dive right into this game. We welcome you today. Appreciate you jumping in and listening with us. We are, of course, DFS Coach Talk. We'd love to have you join us. Go to dfscoachtalk.com. Jump aboard. We have as little as a 3-day pass for $10, and we'd love to have you. All right, let's talk about this Hawks hosting the Bucks in Game 3. The series is tied 1 game apiece, and it is an 8:30 game this evening, Eastern Time, and it is the first home game for Atlanta in this Eastern Conference Championship Series. The last game was a blowout with Milwaukee just dominating to tie that series up again at 1-1. And so the scene shifts now to Atlanta, and how is that going to affect things? Let's discuss the Bucks first quickly here and see if we can come up with some strategy that we can use to build some optimal lineups. That would work for all of us, I think. All right, let's discuss a couple of things. First of all, this last game, again with the blowout, there were a lot of minutes spread around, but we did get a good feel of some of the adjustments made from Game 1. I think Coach Bud did a really good job changing their scheme defensively, trying to get a little bit more physical with Trey. And the bottom line is the Hawks just really hit a dry patch there, and the Bucks came out with an extreme sense of urgency. So, how will the Bucks attack this again? Well, I anticipate the starting lineup will remain the same with Holiday, Middleton, Lopez, Giannis, and Tucker. Let's discuss right down the line here. Tucker is going to probably get 30 plus minutes again. Again, though, offensively, very seldom shoots the ball. If he gets that open corner jumper for the 3, he will let it fly, but he hasn't been making it with consistency. Certainly a risky play. I know that we're looking to get guys all in there that are going to get enough minutes to make an impact. On these showdown slates, you can't afford to take any blanks. So I understand if Tucker's last man in for some people, but it's hard. He definitely can go very low single-digit score for you and sink the ship. He will grab a few rebounds, he hustles, and he will get minutes. But let's talk about the other 4 guys in the starting lineup, because those are the guys that we really need to focus in on. First of all, Giannis, let's start there. Phenomenal game last game in a short amount of minutes, which we know he led the NBA in DFS points per minute. Again, 11 for 18 with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, all within a short time frame. He played 29 minutes, but it was a blowout pretty quickly. There's no question he's got to be the first guy that you look at here, and you have to make that decision on your build. That's what it comes down to, is trying to get that optimal build. And if you play Giannis at your captain spot, you may need him there. He was in that optimal spot for a lot of people last go around, because he put up a ton of points, DFS points, in a short period of time, when other people didn't get those long runs as well. But again, the salary piece is what makes it tough. Certainly, where you have to pay more for him to be in that captain spot, that is very prohibitive on DraftKings. So that's where you really have to consider possibly just having him not faded, but not in that top captain spot. However, it's hard to get away from him on FanDuel or Yahoo, just because you're not penalized for putting him in that spot from a salary standpoint, and he just is so dominant. There's no question about it. So, I'm just going to start off with the obvious and look to Giannis on FanDuel and Yahoo, and have him as part of just one of the slots outside of the captain spot on DraftKings. As far as Brook Lopez goes, he's been sketchy a little bit in this series, a little touch and go with his performance. He did make 6 of 8 shots in this last game, seemed to play with a lot more intensity, hit 3 threes, but we do sort of expect that. He's not a big rebounder. Usually he does throw a couple of blocks on the board. So not out of the question. I don't like his price, so he's probably going to be on the outside looking in for me. The two guys that I really want to consider here again, and it's again the obvious, is Middleton and Holiday. This is the second game in a row in this series that they've both gotten up a decent amount of shots. Holiday's been much more aggressive in this series than he was the prior, and they're both just an integral part, I think, of your lineups here. Now, where you if you do want to fade Giannis, then on certain in certain situations here, you could put one of them as captain, Middleton or Holiday, have the other one just in your regular spots. But I think both of them are very tough to ignore. I think they're the key to Milwaukee being successful again in this output against Atlanta. And we know Atlanta's backcourt is not that good defensively. That's, I think, why Holiday has really stepped it up. And Middleton, although he's had a few dry spells in this series thus far, he did go 6 for 13 from the field, which was better than prior. He's a very good foul shooter. And normally he knocks down a decent percentage of threes. He was only 2 for 7 in this game, so he hasn't quite caught fire yet. But I'm not going to minimize that. I think that he has great potential to really score well. So those are the two guys I'm really focusing on the Milwaukee side. Now, can you play all three of the studs, Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday? It's very difficult to do that. You really are digging to fill out your roster from there. Plus, Atlanta being home with the motivation of, wanting to go up 2-1 in the series in front of their home crowd. It's going to be a raucous arena. There's no question about it. So I'm not going to go with all three of them. Again, where I can use Giannis in the captain spot, I will. And then the big decision that I have to make today is, Holiday or Middleton, which one is going to make it? From a salary standpoint, I'm going to go one way or the other. And then if I do determine to do a second lineup, which you have to have a couple of opportunities here to shift a little bit. And normally I'm a one lineup guy, as you all know that listen on a regular basis. Being more of a cash and single entry player, I'm going to build that lineup and ride or die with it. But you have to have a couple of options here, a couple lineups built, in my opinion, the way that the trend has been in these showdown slates. So, there may be a lineup where I will use either Middleton or Holiday as the captain and then play the other one in the secondary spot. So that's the way I'm looking with the main players. I really don't like Milwaukee's bench at all. Connaughton, Forbes, Thanasis, Jeff Teague. The only guy that I will give a little shout to here and will make a GPP lineup for me, and that's Bobby Portis. He's not gotten huge minutes. He did get additional run in the blowout. He played with the end of the bench for a while, then got pulled with about 3-4 minutes left. So he did get 18 minutes. I'm not comfortable that he's going to get that. That's why I'm not going to utilize him in my cash lineup. I think he's going to go a little over-owned because there was a big fuss about him. The crowd was chanting, Bobby, Bobby, but this is in Atlanta, and if this game stays closer like I anticipate, I think that he may be back to the 12 to 15 minute range, and therefore just too difficult to roster. I do think he'll grab some additional ownership, but I do think it's a bit of a trap. So, I'm a Portis guy. I think he's tough. I think he should be playing more, but for whatever reason, Coach Bud doesn't seem to really trust him in key situations. So, a little surprising there, but he will be a fade for me in my cash games. All right, before we jump to the Atlanta Hawks real quickly here, again, appreciate you diving in here and listening. We're going to bring you 7-day-a-week NBA DFS coverage podcast-wise in front of the paywall, and we're going to give you a good breakdown. We're going to do some game scripting and go through everything. On the weekends, I'm covering it, and then during the week, Andrew and I both will be here to debate, counter-debate, back and forth the lineups that we're going with. However, all 7 days a week, we are both providing lineups for the NBA. If you want to try us out, again, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as 3 days for $10. We have multiple different memberships that you can look at. We also have a very special offer with our partners at betus.com.pa. If you're a first-time depositor, you can sign up, deposit $149 in your BetUS account. Use that to wager. They have every bet you can imagine on every sport. And with that, you get a free 2-month membership with Coach Talk. All you have to do when you sign up at BetUS, use the promo code Coach Talk, all one word, no space, and then you have 2 months free of Coach Talk. So great deal. We're offering that right on through the end of the NBA season here, and we still have these conference finals and finals going. So take advantage of that while you can. We would love to have you join us. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, we are so close to a major goal that we have internally here with subscribers on YouTube. So we would ask you take a second, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, click the little alert button in the upper corner. That'll let you know every time one of our podcasts posts. So that we really appreciate. If you're listening to us through Podbean, Stitcher, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, all of them, Spotify, we're everywhere podcasts can be found. Take a second, hit the 5 stars, a quick comment, and then once a month we have a drawing for a full week free membership, all access membership with Coach Talk, and we'll be making that drawing in 4 days. It's almost the end of the month, so you still have a chance. It's a randomized drawing, so 5 stars, quick comment, and you'll be entered in that drawing, and hopefully you win. Okay, we're diving in. Atlanta Hawks, let's get this done. They are at home. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a loud game. It's going to be an intense game. The big debate this last time was Trae Young. Do we stick with Trae Young? Do we fade Trae Young? That was the big decision. For me, the decision is pretty easy this go around. And again, it's all about salary and balance and figuring out how this is going to work. But I think Trae is the first place you have to look here. No surprise, although I did fade him last time. I just, they stepped it up defensively, Milwaukee, as a team. Holiday played them a little bit tougher, and the team defense was just really smothering. I think the Atlanta crowd, the adrenaline, I think they'll bounce back. They'll find a way to get Trae some extra additional shots. I think that that floater is so deadly. He's just such a strong play. So again, I know some of you are probably saying, "Great, coach. Well, you're giving us all the most expensive guys," but it's the combination of how you build that lineup that's going to be key. Where you use Giannis and you're going to use Trey. You certainly aren't going to be able to use Holiday and Middleton. You're going to have to find some balance there, and you're going to have to find some value. We didn't uncover any value in the Milwaukee side, but I do think we have some value on the Atlanta side. So first of all, again, I think you have to look at Trey, his leadership, his shot making. Again, he got 16 shots up in a short period of time. I think he can get upwards of 25 to 30 shots. I really do. So I think he's the first place to look. After that, you've got a discounted Kevin Huerter, who did get 30 minutes in this last game. He's been playing quite a bit and shooting with confidence, so he is a fine option. John Collins, too expensive to fit my recommendations today. Certainly a dangerous guy, but he's expensive and he's inconsistent. Bogdanovich will gain a little bit of momentum, I think, this time around. He only got 6 shots up. He was coming back from this injured knee the last game. He definitely moved better and looked a little bit better, but I don't think he's 100%. I think that they're going to monitor his minutes, even though it's an important game. They don't want him to, tweak that knee and be out for the rest of the playoffs. So not going to go Bogdanovich, and he still remains a little expensive as well. Where we have to look for the value is coming off the bench. And I've got a couple of recommendations here that I think make sense. Danilo Gallinari has been a go-to guy for me and has gotten it done. I think he will see some good run, the 25-plus minute kind of run, and he can make several shots in a row, and he's not shy to shoot the ball. Even in a limited role this last game, he got up 7 shots, hit 4 of them. He's usually going to grab you a few rebounds, and I think at his price, he's just a really sound value. The other spot I'm going to go to here is Cam Reddish. He's a guy that's super cheap. He did get 17 minutes run. He's coming back from an injury, but he's young. He looks healthy. He looked good. I think he's sort of a wild card off the bench here, and I think he's certainly in play. Like I say, he got 17 minutes in this last game, but with the spark that he shows, he got 10 shots up, which was remarkable for the time frame he's in there. He's a shooter, and he's going to get some open looks. And I think he's going to see over 20 minutes. I really do. I think he's going to be a bigger part of this rest of this series as long as he stays healthy. So if we can mix in the values of Gallinari and Reddish, and even maybe Huerter, with some of the big names that we've mentioned, I think you can find some balance and get some good builds here. Now, again, you may need to look at a few different lineups to keep it honest and give yourself a few chances. But that's where I'm looking. I'm not going to go to the other bench players for Atlanta, Solomon Hill, Lou Williams, Okongwu. I think those guys just aren't going to quite get enough play, enough minutes, enough usage, maybe 10 to 12 minute kind of guys. So really going to stick with the 2 main guys I mentioned off the bench, in Reddish and Gallinari, and look to focus on trying to get Trae Young in there. I'm possibly thinking on the secondary lineup as Trae as captain. The usage is off the charts without Bogdanovich at 100%, and Trae just really having a solid playoffs. I think he's a good option as well. So some surprises, nothing earth-shattering there, but I think that should give everybody an idea of what I'm thinking, and hopefully it helps you build some winners. Again, my focus is with this advice is a lot of cash games, the 50-50, the double ups, the head-to-heads. That's really where you build a bankroll. People that are just jumping in and taking wild shots and going for just the huge tournaments, I mean, it's tough, and you can hit them and you can profit in them. I prefer the single entries, and I think there's a lot of money to be made there. But it's hard on the big tournaments with all the multiple lineups and dupes. So I would recommend just invest smart. We always say here at DFS Coach Talk that bankroll management and contest selection are more important than anything else. Even the players, the game scripting, the lineups you're building. If you don't do the first two steps correctly, then eventually you're going to bust. And that's we're here to do at Coach Talk, and the difference that we try to make. And I think our niche in this industry is we really work with our members, even one-on-one, to help them get their arms around a strategy that can help them have sustainable winnings in DFS for the long term, not just taking wild shots to try to hit big. We also don't play the multi-entry 150 lineups because that's a strategy that some people use. We support it for those that do, but unless you're going to do it and go after it aggressively and have an equal 150 shots as the other sharks in there, then you're fighting a losing battle if you're not even up with your max entries, and definitely a little bit tougher. So we're going to hand build lineups or a couple of lineups in showdown kind of situations like this, and work with our members to really hammer the cash games, make solid profits in single entries, and then take a few shots in the multi-enter big takedown entries, because it happens, but you don't want to put your last hopes or dollar in your account on something that is very slim chance. And that's not to be not confident, it's just to be realistic. So anyway, if you want to hear more about that, I didn't mean to jump on the soapbox, but excited for tomorrow too. We have a weekly meeting for members only, and we moved it from Saturday to Sunday, so it's today. And great time that we spend every week to go over different strategies. We're going to talk about specific contest selection today, and really dive into what we're playing and how we're reserving those lineups and getting into the contest that we want to. So come and join us, dfscoachtalk.com, and we would love to have you there. All right, that is it. That's the Showdown Slate game. Should be a fun one tonight to watch. I do expect a close one, so I think we're going to get a lot of burn from the main players, the main guys out there. Definitely a pivotal game with it being tied up 1-1. So enjoy it. I hope you have some takedowns, and even more importantly, I hope you build a nice bankroll with some of your cash and single entry winners. So thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with my partner in crime here, Mr. Andrew Hansen, Mr. GPP himself. He is a takedown master, and we will be sharing this single game on Monday, doing that podcast and getting that out to you. So thank you very much again. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the game. And we'll look to catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.